Welcome to Animal Stories for Kids. If you like our stories, please give us a 5-star rating, subscribe to our podcast, and share it with your friends and family. And now, it's time for our story. Once upon a time, there was an atlas moth named Frederick. Frederick the atlas moth lived in a rainforest on an island, and he was no ordinary moth. He was a very focused moth. Many times, Frederick the atlas moth could be found just sitting still and thinking, sometimes thinking out loud to the other insects and creatures in the rainforest. One time, Frederick the atlas moth had a bit of a dilemma. He had just woken up from what felt like the longest nap ever, and he couldn't quite tell if it was dusk or dawn. Dusk is right before it becomes night, and dawn is right before it becomes morning. It's not bright, but it's not dark. Frederick yawned a big yawn as he woke up from his deep nap, in a weird time where he couldn't figure out whether he should get up and fly somewhere else or just stay put and try to sleep some more. It wasn't dark, but it wasn't bright either. It was either almost morning or it was almost night. Frederick didn't know. So Frederick the atlas moth stretched and fluttered around and said to himself, Is it time to wake up and enjoy the stars soon? Or should I go back to sleep for some more Betty-bye? He fluttered by an echidna that woke up because it was turning around in its burrow to get more comfortable, and it asked Frederick the atlas moth as it was fluttering by, "Hey, can you tell me, is it morning or is it almost night? I think I just took a long nap and I'm not sure if I should stay up or go back to sleep, you know?" "I'm trying to find out myself," said Frederick the atlas moth as he landed on a small plant next to the echidna. "I don't want to waste my time either. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to do some tests to see if I should keep sleeping or if I should stay awake, and I'll tell you what I find out." So Frederick the atlas moth began flying up to the top of the trees, and he saw what he needed to see. So he floated back down to the echidna and said, "I see something. I see a moon. You know what that means, right?" The echidna asked. "What does that mean?" Frederick said, "That means it's nighttime, right? So it's time for me to get started to wake up and explore." And Frederick was so excited, he started to flutter into the air. Then the echidna said to Frederick the atlas moth, But can't you see the moon in the night and in the daytime, right? So is it almost morning or is it almost night?" Frederick wondered. Wait a minute. You're right. Then, disappointed, and with droopy wings, he floated back down. But he had another test to see if it was close to morning or if it was close to evening. "I know what to try next," said Frederick the atlas moth. He flew around and watched the rainforest floor. He saw a lot of animals stretching and crawling out of their burrows underground and yawning, just like he did. Then Frederick said to the echidna, "Look at all the animals getting up and ready to start their day. I think it's becoming morning. I guess I should be going back to sleep soon." And Frederick got on a leaf and started to get comfortable and ready to sleep. But then the echidna said, "Yeah, but there are other animals that are up in the daytime, and there are other animals that are up in the nighttime too, right?" The echidna was right. Frederick the atlas moth also saw some animals getting ready to sleep in the rainforest, as the other animals were getting ready to get up at the same time. And so Frederick really didn't know what to do. And so Frederick still didn't know if it was dusk or dawn. But then, Frederick the Atlas Moth had one more test. He said to the echidna, "You know what? I have one more way of telling whether it's almost morning or almost night." The echidna asked, "What is it? I really want to know whether I should keep sleeping or not." Frederick then said, "Don't you feel it getting colder? Cold means night, right? So I think I'm going to get ready to fully wake up and really fly around. I was getting tired of sleeping anyways." Then the echidna said, "Yeah, you're right, but not all the time. Sometimes it's really cold in the morning too. Maybe you should stop flying and get ready to go back to sleep." Frederick the Atlas Moth was now a little frustrated because he didn't know what to do. All of his tests didn't help him find out whether it was dusk or dawn. And with his hopes dashed once again, Frederick found himself at a loss. Will he ever figure out if it's dusk or dawn? To Frederick the Atlas Moth, it felt like it was an eternity to find out whether he should stay asleep or get up. And he was up already flying around and doing this and that to figure it all out, and it was getting him nowhere. And just when Frederick the Atlas Moth was about to give up and settle with the fact that he couldn't figure this one out, a warm glow began to peek through the trees, bathing the rainforest in its gentle light as the fog started to rise and cover the trees. And in that moment, Frederick knew, and he nestled back onto his leaf. And as he drifted off to sleep, he couldn't help but smile, because in the end, it didn't matter if it was day or night, because all Frederick knew was that it was now time for his Betty Bye. And the Atlas Moth lived happily ever after. The end. The Atlas moth is also called the Attacus atlas and is a large Saturniid moth that's native to the forests in Asia. And they are one of the largest species of moths in the world, with their wingspan reaching up to 12 inches. They are called Atlas moths in reference to the character Atlas in Greek mythology, who was responsible for carrying the weight of the heavens. Atlas moths are usually reddish-brown with spots and patterns on their wings that look like eyes and are used as camouflage against predators. The Atlas moth, unlike other moths, do not have fully formed mouths once they come out of their cocoons. Atlas moths have short lifespans and can live from up to 1 to 2 weeks as adults. Atlas moths have feathery antennas that are used to detect pheromones when they're looking for a mate. Atlas moths' wings are triangular shaped and they're tapered to a point at the tips. Even though Atlas moths are big, they're very lightweight. Atlas moths live in rainforests in South and Southeast Asia and can be found in countries like India, China, Malaysia, Indonesia, and Australia. Atlas moths eat only as caterpillars before their metamorphosis. And as caterpillars, they eat a lot of leaves from trees and shrubs. And once they go through metamorphosis and emerge as adults, they do not eat at all for the rest of their lives. Instead, they rely on all of the energy reserved from the food that they ate as caterpillars. Atlas moths live their lives not to find food, but to find a mate so that they could reproduce. Atlas moths are nocturnal and are more active at night as they search for their mates and as they lay their eggs. Atlas moths are not very strong flyers and can struggle in the wind. Have you seen a real-life Atlas moth before? If you have, where did you see it? Thanks for listening to Animal Stories for Kids. If you like our stories, please give us a 5-star rating, subscribe to our podcast, and share it with your friends and family. Until next time, bye! If your child loves imaginative stories, I'd love to share my picture book, What Else Should I Eat? It's about a girl who's hungry and goes on a whimsical journey through a magical land of food, trying different kinds of food and exploring how they look, taste, feel, and smell. It's a fun way to show kids that eating different kinds of food can be exciting. The book is perfect for ages 3 to 6, and older kids enjoy it too. You can find What Else Should I Eat on Amazon and other online bookstores. Find all the details in the show notes.